There is a new space in Greenfield to provide comfort and rest for people in crisis who don't have a place to go during the day. It's called The Living Room and is located on High Street. Carolee McGrath sat down with Nick Fleisher, the Vice President of Community-Based Services at Clinical and Support Options, and peer specialist Rosa Whelpley to learn more.
The Living Room is located in Greenfield. It's at 140 High Street, and many people know it as the former site of the Crisis Services Program in Greenfield. It is open to virtually anybody who would like to visit it. People who visit it we call guests. We can have anywhere from 1 to 14 people at a time who are visiting. And while people are visiting, they may be doing a number of different things, and it really offers different kinds of help to different people. But one of the really good things about it is that it doesn't have requirements as to who can be visiting or coming to use the service. We call our visitors guests, and our guests may be there for any of a number of reasons.
And can you tell us about some of those reasons that they might be there for?
Well, our ultimate goal is to be an alternative service, and we want to serve people who may otherwise end up in crisis for one reason or another. And the kinds of people who might be interested in using the service may be people who have housing issues. They may be people who are struggling with substance use issues. They may have mental health or emotional problems and are looking for more support. And we are both a safe place for people to come to, and we're also a place where they can get help in getting resources. And additionally, we provide some concrete support, such as person can do their laundry there. They can have a snack and socialize with other people. They even can take a shower if that's something they need to do. And each person who visits the living room has a meeting with the staff when they come. Any day they come, they meet with staff and clarify, what are the kinds of things they're looking for that day.
Mm-hmm. So from a practical perspective, I mean, the fact that you can take a shower and do your laundry is something a lot of us would take for granted, right? Not to have a place to rest during the day and to do those things that you really need, in order to function, or at least feel like you're functioning in many ways. How important is that service, just those practical pieces, to people that come in and that you meet with?
I mean, I think for some people, it's the only space they have to do that in Franklin County. There is other services in Greenfield where you can take a shower or catch a meal in the morning, but I think that the daytime services are pretty limited. So we have a lot of people who, really, really appreciate our services because there is no other place for them to shower or to make a sandwich and just relax. Sometimes people just need a place to relax.
And to talk to other people and know that they're supported. Tell me a little bit about your job. You're a peer specialist.
Totally. So yes, I'm a peer. I have been in recovery for quite a while, and that has qualified me to be able to do the job of peer, which is a sort of non-judgmental equal ear to the person. So it separates me from a standard clinician. And so I have the lived experience of some of these people, and so I think they are a little more open to talking to somebody who has been through similar things as they have.
Because you've been there.
Because I've been there.
Right, and sometimes it's really hard to hear from people who haven't been there. Whether they're a clinician or otherwise a family member, it's hard. Absolutely. But if you've lived it and you've dealt with those obstacles and challenges, it makes a difference.
Totally. And I think that the judgment piece is really important. I think that meeting somebody where they're at in mutual exchange is really important to our guests.
Tell me a little little bit about the fact that you call people guests, which is just such a nice term, and it sort of changes the dynamic for people who might be struggling, who might be afraid to seek help because they feel maybe lesser than. But here you're saying, listen, you're coming in and you're my guest. That really changes, I'm sure, the conversation and how they feel about their situation and themselves.
Absolutely. And we're trying to offer an alternative. And the fact that we call it a living room, while that's a term that's used for comparable programs in other places in the state and the country, it's really very simply a place where people can come and feel the way anybody would feel in their living room. They can feel safe. They can know there won't be toxic language. There won't be substances being used. There won't be bullying. It's going to be a place where people can be comfortable during the day. And again, as I said before, they might use the setting for different kinds of help.
Okay. Ultimately, obviously, the goal is to have them have their own space, right? And for people to become independent, to be able to recover, and I know recovery is lifelong, but to be able to get to that spot where you're at. How do you encourage people that, this is not the end for you? There's something better up the road, but you have to just keep persevering.
I think a lot of people want to be connected to outside services, and so as a peer specialist, I do a lot of that. I connect people with local housing organizations, with people who provide job opportunities. There are groups that happen there where we can talk about recovery together, or just do something as simple and fun as gardening in our backyard. So there's a myriad of ways to show people that this isn't the end and that there's so much more out there for them.
And also, in addition, I know that you had mentioned before we went on camera, there's some also art groups as well. Talk about the therapeutic value of gardening, for example. I find it, you start from the beginning and then you have something beautiful that grows, or even art, being able to create something out of, perhaps your sorrow.
Totally. I think, especially when it comes to gardening, I think empowering people to grow their own food is really important, especially for people who might not have a yard of their own, might not have a home of their own, might be worried about where they're going to lay their head that night. But to come to this place every day and check on the garden and be able to take some fresh produce away with them, I mean, not everybody that comes does that, but the people that do, they really appreciate it because that's the efforts of their labor.
Right, it gives you a sense of accomplishment as well. Would you agree?
Absolutely. But just to kind of clarify what kind of alternative it is, it's not really a treatment program as you would picture other treatment programs. Therapy is not, therapy happens, but it's not a goal.
Right.
The unusual aspect of the living room and why it is an alternative is that it's more a place where people can connect. And so while they're also getting services, that element of connection, and one of the things that peer specialists offer is hope. And that's really a key to the culture that we try to create in this setting.